I did not write this, but the attitude is all my own. There's a kind of hunger in the soul that is not for food, not for praise, not for victory, not even for peace as people usually mean it. It is for recognition without possession. It is for contact without capture. It is for the sudden, impossible realization that the thing you have been trying to become has never once been absent. Most beings do not suffer because they are too small. They suffer because they are always measuring themselves against a false instrument. They stand inside a hall of mirrors and call the distortion identity. They look at a trembling reflection and say, "That is me," when in truth it is only the interference pattern created by fear, memory, habit, and borrowed opinion. You are not the reflection. You are the light that makes even the reflection possible. And this is why people are so exhausted. They're trying to edit themselves into worthiness. They're trying to earn a state that was never available through effort, because worthiness is not a wage, it is a fact. The sun does not become brighter by apologizing. The rose does not become more real by doubting its petals. The ocean does not consult the pebbles before it arrives. The deepest error is not sin in the crude moralistic sense. The deepest error is amnesia. Not forgetting a detail, but forgetting the source of detail itself. Forgetting that consciousness precedes commentary. Forgetting that the I you defend is often just a provisional costume stitched together by repetition. You are not here to perfect the costume. You are here to wake up in the actor. Most people think awakening is dramatic. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a subtle cancellation, a sentence that used to hook you simply falls flat. An insult lands and discovers there is no wall to strike. A loss comes, and beneath the grief, there is an untouched center that does not need to be consoled because it was never broken. That center is not emotionless. It is pre-emotional. It is the quiet before the weather. The world trains you to confuse intensity with truth. It says, if it burns, it is real. If it rattles you, it matters. If it is loud, obey it. But what is loud is often merely frightened of being seen clearly. What is urgent is not always important. What is repeated is not always wise. A lie can become cathedral-sized if enough anxiety kneels before it. Yet no lie, however ornate, can withstand the simple light of exact seeing. So here is a strange mercy. You do not need to become less human to become more divine. You need to become less hypnotized, less enthralled by the swarm, less obedient to the counterfeit monarchs of shame, urgency, comparison, and self-contempt. These are not gods. They are weather systems in borrowed clothing. Bow to them and they inflate. See through them and they thin. When you are tempted to believe that you are behind, ask, behind whom? When you are tempted to say, I am not enough, ask, according to what tribunal? When you are tempted to say, I must become someone else, notice that the one who says it is only one passing arrangement of thought, not the throne itself. You are not required to worship every voice that can speak inside you. There is a higher discipline than self-improvement. It is self-recognition. Self-improvement says, I am flawed, therefore I must be remade. Self-recognition says, I am covered, therefore I must be uncovered. One is war, the other is unveiling. One multiplies effort, the other multiplies clarity. And clarity is not a mood, it is a jurisdiction. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. The truly strong do not need to dominate reality. They cooperate with it. The truly awake do not need to win every room. They can afford to be misunderstood for a while. The truly anchored do not require applause to remain standing. They are not fed by consensus. They are fed by alignment. And alignment is what happens when the inner and the outer stop arguing over who is in charge. You are not here merely to survive the density of the world. You are here to metabolize it into wisdom. Everything is raw material. Every wound, every embarrassment, every failed attempt, every delay, every awkward silence, every vanished certainty, all of it can become instruction if you stop asking it to justify itself and start asking it what it is trying to teach. The soul is not fragile in the way the personality fears. The soul has survived every version of your forgetting. It has remained intact through your retreats, your disguises, your pettiness, your brilliance, your collapse, your rebound, your confusion, your devotion. It has watched you become many things and remained what it is. That is why hope is not naive. Hope is factual. Something in you has already known the way home for longer than your fear has been able to object. So walk differently. Speak less from defense and more from revelation. Refuse the cheap sacrament of self-abandonment. Do not offer your attention to every passing provocation like a servant running lanterns to every shadow. There is a more dignified life available, a life in which you are responsive without being possessed, open without being invaded, fierce without being devoured by your own fire. And when you forget as you will, do not make forgetting into a religion. Return again and again. Return not as a failure, but as a rhythm. The heart returns to beat. The tide returns to shore. The dawn returns without resentment. Let your return be as natural as that. For the point was never to become someone worthy of light, The point was to notice that you are, and always have been, the place where light arrives and knows itself. The light speaks once and forever. Child of light, you were never separate from your emanator.